Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm Gamesplaining Machi Koro 2. So Machi Koro 2 is a 2 to 5 player game from Pandasaurus Games. Yes, this is the second version of Machi Koro. There is an original version, then there's Machi Koro 2. I believe there's some expansions and a legacy version, etc. But let's push them aside. Machi Koro 2 is a wonderful little game. So what you have is there's a whole bunch of cards available to you in 3 different lines. You're rolling a die. It's your choice if you're rolling single or double die. So a single die will give you 1 to 6. A double die will give you 2 through to 12 as the number that's coming up. Any card that you have will allow you to get some income or whatever it says on the card. It will allow other players to also get income depending on the color of card they have in front of them. If the card has the number that you have rolled, then with the money you have, you can purchase other cards to mean that next time the dice are rolled, you will get income if that number happens to come up. It's a really straightforward, relatively easy game to play. However, there's a lot of thinking involved in which card do I take? Yes, there's a heck of a lot of chance because you could take a whole bunch of cards that have 12s on them, for example, and then you're hoping to roll 12s. Whenever you roll a 12, you're going to get an uber payout because there's quite substantial amounts of money coming in from those cards. But it would be easier to have a whole bunch of 7s because 7 is more likely number to come up within 2 dice being rolled. So there's this, okay, I can invest in a whole bunch of buildings that will pay out on this one number, or I can try and spread myself. Spreading yourself, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you'll get some income happening most dice rolls from most people. The game finishes once you have built, or once someone has built 3 landmarks, and whoever builds that 3rd landmark is the winner. It doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how many buildings you have, it's just who can build those landmarks the quickest. And they get more expensive the further into the game you go. So generally, the first landmark will be about 10 to 12 money, whereas the other buildings you're buying are 1 to 4, kind of that space. And there's a real manipulation there. But then when we get onto the 2nd or 3rd one that you're building, they can get a little bit more expensive. I think the 3rd ones are up in that $20-ish, 24, somewhere in that space. I think that's a really well balanced game. I think that it works really well because you're constantly trying to up the amount of money you have. Oh, I've got 20 money. I can almost afford this one to win, but I can't quite. So do I spend a lot of money to get a card that will give me a heap of income if that gets rolled? Or do I just spend a little bit of money in the hopes that I'll be able to get enough money next time around the board to get this last landmark to win the game? Now, I have played the original version of Machi Koro a couple of times, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's been a number of years now since I played it, but I remember just being absolutely wiped out by the competition. Absolutely, like the guys who knew the game were just boom, 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 and they really, really won. I'm not 100% sure what the difference in the rules is, but I found this one quite nice and comfortable and almost relaxing to play, whereas the original, not so much. And I think that there's a really good reason to own number 2 as opposed to number 1. If you are into that manipulation, like they're extraordinarily similar games, don't misunderstand me. I couldn't tell you what is different other than I'm assuming that the cards are different. The numbers on the cards or what the cards do is slightly different. So yeah, there's this crunch, I guess, on the first one that doesn't exist as much on the second one, that made the second one more playable for a fresh player than the first one. I think the first one, if you know your way through, the first one is actually not a bad game, but you've got to kind of know your way through the cards to understand what to work on and what to get in that case. So look, I think I'll leave that there. This is Machi Koro 2. So please go ahead and watch my Gamesplaned Gamesplanation to get a feel for the game. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.